Greetings, I am Lies.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together.
Woo!
We're going to play it in English since that is our only competent language.
Aha!
And we're actually really curious about this game. So if you are new to our channel, welcome aboard. And if you are not, this is a visual novel by a creator we have never encountered. Oh, it does have sound. Good, good. So this is brand new, as with everything. You can just close it right there. That's amazing. We're gonna start a new game together.
Yes, let's do it.
So this is supposed to be like the only thing we know about it. Oh.
Much like the origin of our dreams, three youths forged their friendships out of unclear beginnings. The innocence of their childhood souls knew nothing of the ulterior motives that the jaded mind of an adult might have.
That basically it's supposed to be a romance with psychological themes. That's all it said.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try tapping and see what happens. Okay.
It's a pity that no decision knows of virtue, a fabrication which lies beyond the chromatic spectrum of consequences that adults insist on simplifying only as either black or white.
And in all the reviews, everyone was like, the language is complicated and highbrow. So we're gonna see.
Right? So they maintain that lies should not be told.
But I
Lying
want to be told.
Is wrong. With empty words, they wage their futile battle against human nature, pretending to know of what they speak. It's ironic how, rather than erasing lies by teaching us not to fabricate falsehoods, we learn to make them better.
That is the premise it's going to work from. I was just saying, I
so,
don't know that is a true premise, but that's the premise we're going to work from.
Okay, so what is then for people? What is this initial statement? This whole beginning
to
section
me,
talking?
What this sounds like, and I'm just going to say, is that basically kids show up with no ideas of anything, basically a blank slate and a personality, and then we teach them things, and then we teach them things like what a moral compass is and such. But kids will just, lie, and when you tell them not to lie, then they're going to learn how to lie better so you don't catch them.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that's what I'm hearing.
I'm also hearing a lot of going like, life is complicated, adults try to make it really simple, of black and white, where you don't just lie, you don't just tell that whole thing. You need to either completely tell the truth, or that's what you need to do. There's no shades of gray, as it were. There's no colors.
Right, and the adults aren't necessarily doing that at all, but yeah. And so I don't believe the premise that people who are told not to lie will just lie more.
Right.
But that's fine if that's what we're working from. Let's go.
Usually kids react very strongly to something is what they're doing in my experience, because so a real quick example is that usually in my youth growing up, it wasn't when my mom and dad say don't do that thing or we're going to take this thing away from you, and you go, okay, well, I'm going to find some way so you don't find out what I'm doing so you won't take that thing away from me. It's not you're connecting me to why. And they go, oh, it's a natural consequence. They're like, that's not a natural consequence, that's you just trying to control me for reasons that I don't understand.
Natural consequence is I take my Game Boy down to the river with me, which you told me not to do, and I either lose it in the river or it gets damaged by water irreparably.
Yeah,
that's a natural consequence.
Right.
All right.
After all, who honestly speaks the truth? We only open our ears to the confirmation of our biases. Yeah, the confirmation, that's true. People only listen to what they already know.
And that's not 100%, but it's very, very common.
Yes.
That people will be like, yes, this is the thing that makes sense to me.
People are very invested in their own worldviews.
They are.
And that's strange, because in my opinion, there is no one who is more sincere with their words.
Okay.
Than the greatest liar of them all.
So one of the things that I've talked about before, sometimes people who are lying, and that's actually an experience that my friend and I have had together where that is essentially the case, where sometimes people don't tell you the whole truth, but they can be a very genuine, sincere person nonetheless.
Right.
And it's very interesting how that works.
Right. The greatest liar of them all. Okay,
all right, so lying is going to be a theme in here, my bros. Okay, we've got no sound, so if you have no sound, just so you know, that's the game right now. All right.
No, we actually have sound. It's very, very, very quiet.
Hang on. Then I'm going to turn up the sound just a little bit. See if we can get some of this.
Oh.
All right. And we're going to try that because we don't want to drown ourselves out. And then maybe we'll get better sound mixing in the future as we move forward. Notes fell readily from my memory and onto the piano. Keys at my fingertips.
The piano keys at my fingertips.
Oh, onto the piano keys at my fingertips. Recreating the trite sounds of Maestro Debussy's esteemed melody. I assume that's how you say that. I played for no attentive listeners. In no grand auditorium, only one man fell within earshot of my tune. As weak with his words as with his posture, he shifted his eyes about in a mixture of fear and doubt.
Okay.
That's a lot of judgments.
I was also going to say, I can see what people are talking about. This game is very... I want to say it's very novel sounding.
It sounds like it's trying to be like use a lot of prose.
Yes.
It's going like flowery with the words.
And the thing is that can work to give you a certain, basically, atmosphere or attitude. But I find it to be very interesting of going, okay, your narrator now sounds an awful lot like your initial person who led you in, whatever that was, sounds an awful lot like whoever the heck this character is supposed to be. And that sort of starts bleeding things together, but we'll see how that goes.
That might also be the same person, though.
It could be, which
so
is
at
fine.
this point, we got nothing. Even if I were to close my eyes, I could draw his features in the void, with nothing more than my memories. Every feature, every pulsing movement, the signs on his face that age had yet to win its losing battle against his youth.
Long battle.
Sorry. Its long battle against his youth.
So
That's
my friend,
interesting
if you
too.
don't know, is dyslexic.
I am dyslexic, so I'm going to do my best here, but this font is small, and normally what I will do...
Do you want me to read most of it?
No, we'll see how it goes. I'll say, normally what I'll do with small font is I'll scan the screen, but here, since tapping moves forward, I can't do that.
Right.
So I'm going to do my best. But as I get used to the way the author writes, I'll get better at reading it,
Okay.
because I'll get better at predicting it. But you correcting me will work great. So everyone, welcome aboard. I will do my best. So we're basically saying he's old, but he doesn't look old. That's
Yes.
what I'm getting.
Child comes in. Translate. He old, but he look young. He old, but not old.
We have a layman translator in here. It'd be great.
Right?
I can still taste the crisp, bittersweet flavor my mind gave to the air on the day I found him, staring so intently at the starry sky as if he wanted to leave the rest of the world behind. I'm sorry, but the day I found him, and he's moopy and has bad posture, I'm just like, is this a dog? Did you find an adorable, soft dog that no matter how old he gets, he just looks young like a puppy?
I don't
I'm
know.
sure it's a person.
I'm also just like, this sounds deeply romantic.
It's a...
But he wanted the world to leave him. It's
I
fine.
guess. He wanted to leave the rest of the world behind.
Yeah,
That infamous night, quietly overseen by Maestro... Is it Maestro?
it's Maestro.
Maestro, thank you. I knew I wasn't pronouncing that right. Maestro Debussy would change everything forever. I don't know if it's Debussy. I don't even know.
I don't know.
I've read it, but I've never heard it. But it's Maestro.
But the 5-year-old in me wants to go, he, Debussy.
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 All right. We have no idea who this is, so we might change the voices up as we figure out who people are. But we'll see how we do.
Come on, wanna go see how haunted that mansion really is?
The boy could hardly contain his excitement as he spoke. His two friends, his only audience, frowned in response, reluctant to give him their answer. They couldn't be fooled by such superstitions as ghosts, nor were they motivated to spend their time disproving their existence. Yet somehow, they just couldn't find it in themselves to say no to their eager friend, perhaps due to his eloquence. Hi, come on! Eloquent, I love it. Or to be frank, his persistence. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
I got it. We can do it.
Oh God, he just beautiful words. They just
It's-
murdering my entire ears.
How haunted it really is. Eloquent prose. Their entrance was heralded by abandoned spiderwebs, ramshackle walls, and frayed curtains. Unfortunately, there were no specters to speak of, which is unfortunate because of what? Oh, the boy had little need of his ghosts now, though, for the trembling signs of fear that gripped his friends served more than adequately as his entertainment for the day.
This is basically a friend group daring each other to go into a house that they assume to be haunted, and the boy is mostly like going, I don't need to actually see a ghost, I just need to torture my friends.
And the boy is basically, let's go there and find ghosts. And since we didn't find ghosts, it's fine. I just wanted you all to be... You being scared is entertainment enough.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. A little dark.
Yep.
So, our intrepid leader, who was entertained by the misery of his friends,
Yep.
took point, taking his exploration party deeper into the dust-veiled interior of the old mansion. He brought his attention to a single book laid atop an aging podium, a sure sign that no pages of content were more worthy of reading than those found within this centerpiece on display. Its words were still legible, if only just, and apart from the rest of its treatise on keeping close relationships unbroken, it offered a dire warning. So he walks up to the house and kicks on in, friends get scared, drags him in farther, and then he comes upon a book presented open on a pedestal in the middle of a massive empty room. And then he's like, I immediately am reading this thing.
Great.
Keeping close relationships unbroken. All right. And a warning, mend the bonds. Oh, sorry.
Desecrating that which does not belong to you will bring nothing but punishment. That which you love will inevitably become the greatest of your fears. When, during the
Sizigi.
Sizigi?
Sizigi.
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 What the fuck? Okay, you got me, you got me, game.
It's
What
a
the hell
Sizigi.
is Sizigi? SYZ.
YGY.
YGY. What the shite is...
This has a better vocabulary than I do.
That's fine. Also, it's again one of those things. So as I always think it'd be funny is where people are like, "Oh, you're so capable or so intelligent. Why do you use those words?" It's like because after a while,
Okay,
you're
here we
not
go.
basically in that
A
environment.
conjunction or opposition.
Shut up.
Nope.
Syzygy.
All right.
A syzygy, a conjunction or opposition, especially of the moon or with the sun.
When the planets align.
Syzygy.
I mean, when there's an eclipse. I
Cool.
love it. This feels like a new writer.
Syzygy. 3 elements must become 2. Which one will you discard?
The syzygy. When things come together. It's okay.
All
That's
right.
amazing. I've never heard that word before. I love it.
Okay.
If it had been a spell from a witch's book, the 3 youths lacked the knowledge to understand it. Nonetheless, they would soon regret having brought life to the words upon the page.
But it was just one kid. If it had been this thing, the 3
So-
U's lacked the knowledge to understand. That doesn't feel like that follows. Actually, that feels like if it had been a spell from a witch's book, the 3 U's lacked the knowledge to understand it.
But even though they
Like
couldn't
it looks like it's
understand
waiting to like lead into something else, not just abruptly end as a period, like in
Yeah.
the sentence. Does that make sense?
I can see it, but at the same time, it also works for me.
It's fine.
Anyway, so yeah, they're going to regret having brought to life. So apparently, our leader troll went up there and went, "I will read this out loud." And depending on how young they were, I'd love to hear how he pronounced everything.
Oh yeah, well, you know.
From out of the darkness, shackles appeared and bound the 3 together with unbreakable chains that only they could see. We're being told that 3 of you are now a syzygy, and you're going to have to get rid of one of you eventually. That
That's
is
kinda
what I'm hearing.
Yeah, you're right.
Only the 3 of them can see.
That's
Damn,
it.
bro. Doomed to keep each other's company eternally.
Okay.
Except that it also told you that theoretically one could be removed. But damn, wow. Kid!
Hey, do you think I can learn to play the piano?
Are you serious? Why should I bother to teach you? You've had more time to learn than I have.
No, that's not what I meant. I was just curious.
Well, it's a simple question with a long and complicated answer. So here it is. This game is super vague in who's speaking. It's so hard to voice this thing. No.
What? Why not?
Do you really need me to spell it out for you in actual letters?
You're the expert. It shouldn't be hard to tell me what's wrong.
Actually, being an expert and also being an expert who knows how to teach are very distinctly different things. But
As
that's
we have
okay.
pointed out multiple times.
Yes.
Knowing what you're doing and knowing how to teach it to someone else, especially people with different learning types, is very challenging.
Yes.
Or can be a no-go. What's wrong? What's wrong? Where do I begin? For example, those sausage links you call your fingers, you think there's any instrument that would accommodate you?
Are we fat shaming or are we just making fun of chubby
Short,
little
stubby little fingers.
Like-
baby fingers.
baby hands?
Kiddo hands. I don't know, but this person sounded very judgy. Anyways, the way they
Yeah,
described the
that's
figure
fine.
across the room, there really was an experience of you're mopey and just, just like sad and, unappealing.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're just trying to make me go away. I've never heard of anyone not being able to play a piano for such a stupid reason.
As their fingers.
As their fingers. Well, I mean, if your fingers aren't long enough and if they don't flex a lot, yeah.
Well, then I can hit the keys I can reach, okay? Some
Yeah.
people play piano with 4 fingers. I can certainly do it with 10.
Right.
I suppose that depends on your goals. You can bang away at the keys to your heart's content, for example.
You're not very good at this pep talk thing, you know?
Honestly, as much as this conversation is frustrating, it feels very natural. Ha! Adults, I am going to say stop it and go away and try and indirectly shut you down in several ways. Kid, I'll keep trying different angles of approach.
Yes.
Hmm.
Though, honestly, in some ways it feels a little bit too foreign.
Oh, no, it's a little awkward.
Yeah.
It was a strange spell which bound the 3 youths together. Should they try to spread out and seek their own paths, the chains on their legs would grow tighter, keeping them together. But if 2 of them agreed to stay close to each other, they could grant the 3rd prisoner an extended length of distance.
Okay, so the chain has limits, and if two people are closer, that shortens the chain enough where the third person can go the furthest away.
Can have more leaves. So it's basically a chain running through the shackles,
Right.
and hooked at the end to the outside two parties, or essentially functionally that way, because I think it's just sort of a loop through all of them, and if two of them stand close together, one
So
can walk
what does
further
this
away.
have to do with telling the truth and lying?
We're gonna find out. This might be a mystery. Who
Oh.
knows? The links in the chains were uninterrupted by obstacles. They only enforce the proximity by which its prisoners must be held. Still, they could find a way to live their lives.
To live
With their curse, with none but themselves being the wiser to it, since the chains are completely incorporeal, though it's got to be weird as hell to always be interacting with them and have the rest of the world not be able to see them. And how could anyone believe that three friends have been physically bound by a chain which eludes the sight of everyone but its prisoners, passes through all obstructions, and is untouchable by anyone else?
to anyone else.
Oh, to anyone else.
So anyway, I also immediately disagree because that would be really easy to prove. Hi, you stay there and you stay there, and we have a person we're trying to illustrate this to. Watch me walk away and watch what happens to both of them as we pull this basically chain to its extremes. You're gonna watch both of them suddenly start jerking across the floor.
Additionally,
really
let's put all three of us in different cars and try to drive away.
Yeah, I'm like, this is a really easy experiment. I'm like, I feel like you don't think much about how kids would. Okay, I'm fine.
It's
Whatever.
okay. Once they had gone beyond kids, it seems like there'd be a way to prove it. On the other hand, it seems like it's working from that premise where no one will believe us, because if we've started as kids, then you assume that kids don't trust adults, and that adults are going to tell you you're lying, you're wrong, I don't understand, because that's how fictional adults usually work towards kids.
Yeah,
And then you
constantly
move with that premise and never examining it again to adulthood, and most people live unexamined lives.
Right.
You just live with it.
Mhm.
Anyway, I think this right here is probably a good standard for where our game's going to start, so I'm going to read this and then wrap us up, okay?
Okay.
All right. Under the premise that they used to spend all their time together, none of them thought this incident would harm their lives too much. Using their imaginations, they could manage some way to go on with their lives. In time, a change came upon them. Just as the origins of their friendship remained unclear, so too would it be difficult to pin down just what had kept them united. The chain? Their origins of their friendships are unclear, but they were I don't know. The light of their childhood innocence would die a slow death. Or perhaps even that innocence was another lie, fabricated to disguise their selfishness. These were the thoughts which plagued the leader's mind as he began to silently observe the faces of the ones he once called his friends, who had now become unrecognizable to him.
All right. Well, that's very interesting. But thank you very much, guys, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and also share our videos if you're having a good time with us. Please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or Patreon. Got the links in the description down below. And I have been Scandal.
And we are curious to see what this game holds. And I have been Liz.
And it was great playing with you.
Bye!